Right, welcome back to episode number 8 of You Have 2 Minutes. Tonight we're joined by a man who's become very popular at Plymouth this season, Alfie Bowtell. Alfie, how you doing?
Yeah, all good, all good. No, enjoying life at Birmingham, so happy to come on here. Cheers.
The perfect way to start, I think, is just looking at how the move to Birmingham came about. So I know, for me in particular, I was surprised that you weren't back at Plymouth. How did the move with Birmingham come about?
Yeah, to be honest, it was a surprise to me as well, because I'd heard a winter that from Birmingham, well, end of last season because I was injured, sort of mid-season last year, so I was getting promised, yeah, you're 100% back in the team, blah blah blah, again and again, and then got to sort of I don't know, Christmas sort of time, I think, well, maybe just a bit before Christmas, and yeah, probably a month or so before Christmas, and hadn't really signed the contract or nothing was like 100% yet, so I started calling up, chasing them, and they sort of said I'm an R in, and said with averages and all that, and then I got talking to one of my sponsors that helped us out, Sean, at Thermo Home, and he was sort of half involved with Birmingham and setting up my deal. So yeah, and then they needed someone on within my average, and I just thought, yeah, I'll jump at that. It's to be honest, every time I rode at Birmingham since I've been riding, like last 6-7 years, I've always like loved coming there. Like I never got on that well with the track, to be honest, but I thought like the actual location of it and the arena and the track, I thought was pretty cool. And yeah, and then as soon as I had the opportunity, I just said, yeah. I spoke to Lawrence and he sorted us out a contract, and it was signed within probably 24 hours, sort of thing. So it was good.
And how different is the track this season? I know they ripped it up at the end of last year and completely relaid it, so for all intents and purposes, it is a new track this year. How different is it to the one that you've raced before this season?
Oh yeah, 100%. I went there. I think I guessed it for you guys last season, mid-season, and the track was down to the base. The track was in quite a bad way. I think I'd done okay, but obviously the track wasn't ideal. And then I went there press and practice this year, sort of knowing that they'd done a lot of work because I'd seen, and yeah, I knew they'd done a lot of work, and I just went there and I thought, mate, I'd done my first few laps. It had a bit of drizzle at press and practice, and I thought this is one of the best tracks in the league. It was unreal. Like the track was unreal in press practice, and yeah, no, I was well happy when I see it then.
And you rid it in what was a very, very difficult conditions on press and practice day. Did that give you the confidence that the track held up for that it can kind of hold up for anything?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I turned up to press and practice, and I was I'm in R and get my kevies on. I was like, oh, it just looks a bit heavy, and well, it didn't look heavy; it just looked wet. Do you know what I mean? And I went out there, and it did not ride out like a wet track. I think where they just had like the perfect amount of rain, it rode like a perfect speedway track should. Like it was, I don't know. I'd love to race on the press and practice track every week. It was unreal that day, but I think we're getting back there now with the track. I know. Last week, Heat 1, it was quite wet, but obviously it's been that hot. They're trying to get as much water down as they can, and I understand it. It just, from my point of view, it just I didn't have the best start to the last few meetings. I seemed to get in Heat 1 and misjudge the gates where I feel like where they're a bit wet, and I don't know. I just sort of read it wrong, but yeah, I don't know. At least I'm finishing the meetings good lately, so that's the main thing.
And is that your target this season? Heat 1's, you're obviously against their number one. Is Heat 8 the meeting that you're targeting to make your race this season to try and at least win that, whatever happens for the rest of the night?
Yeah, definitely. Like I always want to start the meeting well, regardless. Like it's I have the inside gates for Heat 1 like all season long. So I just want to make the most of them, and then I know if I feel confident if I can get out front, around Birmingham can sort of just make that race mine, cover everyone else in muck, and just crack on really. But yeah, Heat 8, I don't want to be losing, but obviously it happens. But no, I had a good. Me and James have had a few 5-1s in Heat 8. So yeah, no, getting on well. So should be good.
And you mentioned James there, obviously he's not there anymore. There's been a lot of chopping and changing since Stewart's come in. Is it difficult as a rider to kind of gel as a team when there's different faces in the majority of the weeks?
it's been a bit hard. Obviously, he's got to do something because we had some injuries from pressing. Like literally before the season started, we were down the rider, and then obviously it just snowballed sort of into another rider, and then injuries and so on. But it does make it a bit harder, I think. But I think now we've got like the business end of the season coming up. We've got a solid team. We've got a full team again as well. So I think now we should be able to crack on and now move on and start our season now. Really.
And there's been a lot of talk, a lot of fans were annoyed at certain riders doing this and doing that, and people need replacing, etc. But your name is always one that people like associated with being safe. Does that give you confidence that you've proven that you're like you're a rider worth keeping in the team? Everyone was saying that no matter what happens, Alfie's doing his job. Does that kind of give you a confidence boost as well?
Yeah, it does in a way. Like I'm grateful when I see all them like the nice comments and like I don't know the encouragement, but in another way, I feel like now I've got a new team manager. I don't really know Stuart that well. I feel like my season's almost starting again. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's a hard one. I feel like he doesn't expect as much as I expect for myself from him, but I don't know. It's just got to go from now and make sure every meeting. So I'm just focusing on the next meeting, and let the ones I've done sort of in the past. But yeah.
And how do you bounce back as a rider from the results like at Glasgow, the battering, and then Scunny a week later and a similar kind of result? And how is it as a rider to bounce back from that, even if you know you've done your job, like as a team, how do you kind of come together and put it right?
Oh yeah. I mean, I don't know. I find it horrible. Like when we go, when I find it horrible. I find it worse if I go to a meeting and we get absolutely annihilated, and I feel like I've scored my few points that I should. Like, obviously being number two, I'm not expected to do that great. Like, score my average is my goal, but so I've been doing my bit most of the season. To be honest, like I've scored above my average most meetings, and my average is I don't even know what my average is at the minute, but I think it must be going up. So
It's 4.78 at the moment, but it will be changing again for next month coming up soon. But with your meetings, you'd probably expect it to rise a little bit more.
yeah, like that's good for me. Like I started the year, obviously come back from broken leg and knee. Like it was pretty bad injury I had last year, and I didn't expect my season to start how it did. Like pretty solid. So yeah, I'm happy to score my average. But yeah, no, what I was saying is when you're on the losing team and you score your points, and then even when you speak to someone, like they're like, oh, fucking, you got smashed last night, didn't you? Like I'm like, oh mate, I felt like I rode my bit, but yeah, I know as a team it's just hard. But hopefully now a lot less of that, and we can kick on.
And how has the transition been with Lawrence leaving on his health grounds and Stuart coming in, two different style of management? How's that been to adapt to?
Yeah, I mean it is definitely two different individuals, that's for sure. Like Lawrence is sound. Like I get on with Lawrence, and sort of Stuart, you don't. I don't know. I don't really know him too well, so I just imagine he don't take much. He don't take no shit. To be honest, he's just pretty down to business. But then again, Lawrence is like Lawrence is quite sort of he gives you a look, and you got to do your job when he gives you that look, sort of thing. So, and Lawrence is still been in the pits every meeting. So it's sort of you just got an extra body there, I guess, and Stuart's giving you a kick up the arse as well as Lawrence. Do you know what I mean? So it's yeah, and Nigel's always about and giving you like keeping his eye on everyone. So no, it's yeah, it's good.
And how is it riding for someone like Nigel? Like the man loves his speedway, and you hear a lot of people say there's a proper family feel. And like I was in Scunthorpe for the thunderstormed off meeting, and we were at the pub, and we got to all like Lawrence and Nigel invited us over to sit with everybody after with Steph and all that. And there's a proper family feel. Does that resonate through track walk and the team and like team WhatsApp chats and stuff like that as well?
Yeah, definitely. Like I feel like the WhatsApp stuff and that will come now. Obviously, now we've got a new team. We're just sort of like getting bed in, and then we need to get a few wins to get that sort of like the boys all up firing. But no, yeah, definitely, I'm grateful with like the effort Nigel's putting in this year. Like he's definitely made a big difference, and I enjoy coming down on a Wednesday, like to Birmingham. But sometimes I get nervous, but I used to get nervous when I'd go racing. I'd go to Plymouth last year, and I sort of half get nervous. But I look forward to coming to Birmingham on a Wednesday and just getting my racing done. I know trying to do my job and just cracking on with it, really. So no, I'm grateful for all the effort they put in.
And how different has it been to transition from a home track of Plymouth to a home track of Birmingham, to very different tracks in a sense?
Oh yeah, completely different ball game, really. Honestly, yes, because I've been at Plymouth for a couple of years, sort of thing, and I've been wanting to. Like, I know I need to progress in my career. I needed to go to more of a races track. Like Birmingham isn't the biggest, but it's not small, to say the least. So, and you have to ride it completely different you do at Plymouth. So I'm glad that I've learned to ride at Plymouth, and I can turn a bike pretty hard, and it's a technical track. The track's always a bit bumpy and like loose, just to say the least. So to come to Birmingham and know you can ride that place flat out, and I feel confident going there, and I'm confident with the track 90% of the time. So yeah, no, I'm enjoying it, and it's definitely different to riding at Plymouth, but I prefer it.
And you're coming off the back of that really important win last week against Berwick, but now there's 2 weeks off away from Perry Bar. Would it have been easier as a rider if you'd just been on it back to back to back for the couple of Wednesdays just to keep that momentum going?
Oh, without doubt. I mean, I was pretty when I looked at the fixture list, I was like, oh, pretty big break now. But yeah, so it is what it is. But I know next month I think we've got them every Wednesday next month. I think we've got 4 on the trot, or is it 4 or 3 on the trot at least? But yes, hopefully, yeah, yeah. So we can get that first one in and get that win, and then we can just crack on from there. Hopefully.
And you've been voted now back-to-back Supporters Club Rider of the Month. Obviously, this goes out on the Supporters Club Facebook page and stuff as well. Is it good for you that they're noticing your hard work and that they're voting you as their Rider of the Month in what has been a struggling team up to now?
Yeah, I mean, when I got that the first month, I honestly didn't expect that, to be honest. Like, I was really grateful, and I thought, oh, happy days. Like, because my first week of Birmingham, it didn't start that great, and then from there it went all right. But and then the second month come and I got it again, and yeah, I was over the moon, man. I was well happy with that. Yeah, it does give me a bit of confidence boost, because I feel like the home supporters are like behind us a bit now, and so I was becoming a bit of a familiar face with everyone, and I know like where people stand and that. So no, it's pretty cool, especially when I win a race and go around. I feel like that's quite an important part of Speedway. Like, so if when you win a race, do a lap of honour and just sort of give them a wave. And some people don't do it, but I think that's quite I don't know, I think it goes a long way as well with the supporters. So it's pretty cool.
There was a difficult meeting at Edinburgh last Friday with the rain and stuff, and obviously Joe crashed and broke his collarbone. In your opinion, without saying anything that could get you into trouble, should that meeting have started, or should it have just been looked at? Would you have rather gone there and it been called off and all 7 riders came home healthy and happy?
Yeah, I mean, it's a hard one, because I honestly thought like the rain was so fine at the start of the meeting. It was sort of it was fine. Do you know what I mean? I went out of heat one. It was muddy, I must admit. Like, for me, I was happy because I won the first one, so I was like, let's crack on with it. But then it kept raining, and I sort of weren't really paying much attention personally. But I see Nick and obviously my more experienced boys, they were like, well, it's not ideal, but obviously everyone was driving a long way, and everyone was like, let's get it done. And it just kept on raining, and it was just a little bit heavier, a little bit heavier. We went out, and the race that I crashed in, it was just ridiculous, to be fair. Probably should have called it before, but I can't really say much because I had my helmet all ready to go 5 minutes before the heat. So it's yeah, it was a tough one, but yeah, I hurt my shoulder as well when I crashed. My left shoulder's been awful since, but it's part of the game. Part of the game.
And we've got to touch on it. I think the controversial exclusion on Saturday. Just thought, we're guesting for Oxford at Workington. What, from your point of view, what without getting in trouble, what kind of happened there?
Yeah, no, to be honest with that one, I don't know. In my defence, I race for Mildenhall, I race for Birmingham. I have a Birmingham race suit with a Birmingham bib printed on the suit, and then I have a Mildenhall bib printed on that suit. So I think I shouldn't have. Obviously, it was my mistake, but yeah, I don't have the. I don't know. It's my fault, but yeah, I shouldn't have. I wish I knew what I knew now, so then I could have sort of gone against it and got my points. So yeah, so it should be good. Should be good. So I don't know. Hopefully, there's a few. Go on. Yeah, there's a few emails. There's a few emails floating around. So I might be able to get my points money back, which hopefully I can. I'll be grateful for that.
With you winning that race as well, would it have made it a little bit easier if the ref would have excluded you before the race rather than after you'd gone and won it by some clear distance as well in the end?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, why I don't get it. If surely, I don't know. It's just apparently he see it before as well, but they let me race, and then after they exclude me and take points away. So it's it's not ideal, and I don't know. It's just a bit backwards, especially like finding out the likes of old Dougie rode a whole meeting without a bib on the other week. So it's it's a kick in the teeth, but I don't know. Hopefully I get the 3 points back and I can get my the money back. So happy days, but we'll see.
And what is that new Workington track like to ride? Obviously, it's only been down a short time. Is it, what is it like? Because a lot of us won't have seen it yet.
Yeah, honestly, I think it's a great place. Like it's in Workington, Lake District, in the middle of nowhere. So like if you go up there, I reckon like it's a lovely place to make a weekend. Make a weekend, go all around Lake District. It's unreal up there. I'd move up there if I didn't have to work in London. Do you know what I mean? It's unreal. But yeah, the track itself is great as well. It's a bit weird at the minute because I think the track needs to develop more as a racetrack because you're racing around the inside sort of thing. So there's a bit of a dirt line forming from when I last went there about a month ago to now. But yeah, no, I think they've done everything right, to be honest. Once they sort of change them out of showers, I'll be happy. But other than that, it's great.
And is that kind of a similar thing with Birmingham as well? With that track being relayed, does that kind of need to bed in, so to speak, and form that outside line? Because it has started to come slowly now. There is a second line appearing. Is that kind of a similar thing with Workington?
Yeah, I reckon so. Obviously, Birmingham's been there a while, but obviously they've relayed it. So yeah, no, I reckon. Yeah, I reckon so. It's coming. I reckon. By the time we get going next month, by mid next month, we should all be firing. That's what I'm hoping anyway.
And you're flying in the National League. You're more than doing your job in the Championship. You've now got a boss who manages a Premiership team as well. Is that the ultimate goal, to try and kind of break through into the Premiership? I remember watching you guess for Wolves in, I think, 2021 maybe. And I remember saying on that night, a rider will never try harder and score nothing.
Yeah, literally. I mean, that's been my goal, man. I've been trying so hard to get a top league spot for a while, and it's frustrating because, I mean, I race against the boys that ride in the top league a lot, and especially like the reserves, and I beat them quite often as well. It's not like I just get passed by them, so it's a hard one, but yeah, that's the aim. And obviously, because I'm riding less than some of the boys that ride in that league, so I feel like if I picked up the next league and the big track experience, I'd take the opportunity with both hands and probably try getting myself a new motor ready for big tracks and go for it. Really, just fully commit. So that'd be the aim. Yeah, 100%.
And you have touched on it slightly this season. You've gone with the race jacket printed on the Kevlar, so you've got a very professional looking setup. Is that important to look as sharp as you can for your sponsors and for everything? So I think race jackets as a jacket are kind of a thing of the past now. It's like everyone barring sponsored team suits. Was that like just to make yourself look a little bit more professional to just have it printed on?
Yeah, and because hate wearing race jackets, to be honest. I hate racing in them, but I mean, when I'm racing, I don't know, but I just hate wearing them. I just like the look of it. And then sort of when I was sorting my deal out, I wanted to make sure I try to get a suit out of sort of each club sort of thing. So I just thought I might as well get it printed on there, and it does look a lot smarter as well, to be honest, I think. But it's I like team suits, obviously, and that's the aim. But yeah, it hasn't worked out that this year. But no, it looks smart, to be honest. I think I don't know. Pearson had some. I don't know. Was I the only one? I don't know if James had one. Did James have one?
Printed on the other ones as well. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So yeah, it was a couple of us, but no, it was. I prefer it. Yeah, it was smart.
Just slightly touching on Mildenhall, there was a lot made last year of crashes and injuries at Mildenhall, and there's been a few this year, not as much in the spotlight. What is it like as a home rider to ride that track? Does it get a bit of an unfair rap?
I mean, it does and it doesn't. Like it's a tricky track. Like it's the same as Highway, because I rode for Kent last year, and you have some injuries there, just where it's quite bumpy. And Mildenhall's they put a lot of work in there to get the track rideable, because obviously they have stocks and they have stock cars there, and the material is quite grippy. So they try and mix it all up, and they only allow on the track a certain amount of days, sort of like a day before or whatever. So they do the best of sort of bad situation, and I think they just get unlucky, mate, with them. Sort of a lot of them crashes. Like a lot of them was in the reserve race, and I mean they come into the first bend, they're shut off, everyone locks together and goes in the fence, or on another bend. Like it's just part of National League really, and Mildenhall just had it a bit unlucky the last couple of years. But yeah, it is a bit of a hard track. Like you got to know how to ride it and ride it hard, and you get round usually. But crashes happen in our sport, don't they? So it's just part of it.
And finally, before we let you go, just as a team now, there seems to be a settled 1-7 unless any more changes come, which Stuart hasn't ruled out yet. Is it time to just forget the start of the season and kind of start afresh from it? Like it starts here. Like you're quite fortunate that you'd only raced sort of 3 or 4 league meetings before the changes and stuff. So they've still got a good bulk of the season on league action to get up the table and into the playoffs.
Yeah, definitely. I think hopefully we can just crack on as the team we've got now. Obviously, I know Stuart might change his mind if we have a couple bad ones next week, or next month. But now it's time to just crack on, get a job done, and get these league points in so we can push them playoff. Mind you, we're only it's top 6 in playoffs, isn't it? So and we're in
I think Bond's in 6 at the moment.
So we're in play. Yeah, it's pretty mad, but obviously we want to be a bit further up there. So if we can just crack on as a team and get a job done, that's the aim.
And I think we'll leave it there. That was a very insightful conversation. Massive thanks for joining us tonight, and enjoy the rest of your evening, and good luck for the rest of the season.
Cheers, Dylan. Thank you, mate.
Cheers, Alfie.
All right, catch you later. Bye.